And so this video begins in Los Angeles, California at Elysian Park. And for this video, I will be hunting down the filming locations to one of my all-time favorite movies. Right here in Los Angeles, the San Francisco area, downtown LA. And also check this out. That's where the Dodgers play. Dodger Stadium. I've always wanted to come to this spot. I felt it was important to begin here. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. One of the greatest action sci-fi thrillers of all time. Arguably one of the greatest sequels of all time. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, Joe Morton, Robert Patrick, Edward Furlong, and of course created and produced by James Cameron. I started this journey back in January. A little bit of time travel involved in this presentation you're about to see. Welcome to the filming locations of Terminator 2, Judgment Day. I'm Tampa J, and I love me some movies, specifically some Terminator. I was out here last year tracking down the original locations to the original Terminator, and I have returned to do T2. Oh yeah, I'm so stoked. Guys, I found a location that has never been presented before on YouTube. Found it back in January, and I'm so excited to get there. But I present to you the most complete Terminator 2 Judgment Day video to be ever released. Thank you for watching. Here we go. Come with me if you want to live. There's much ahead. And we begin this video with this scene right here. The nightmare / dream sequence, Sarah Connor's dream. This park looks a lot different today. Here it is. There would have been a fence right here where Sarah Connor grabbed, a chain link fence. So it looks like the fence would have been a little closer to the ledge I'm about to walk out to. These pavilions were not here. As I match up this shot, I want to put it into frame first. And here we are now today. I will also place that shot back in the lower right hand corner. This is where they filmed Sarah Connor's nightmare. There's a tight shot of the kids playing on the playground, Sarah Connor and John, little John, in the middle. You can see how the skyline has not changed much. A lot of more buildings since the early 90s. This building right here is the first building you see to the right in the screenshot to the right of Sarah's head. Now it is obvious from the angle that they did get the shots of downtown LA from this park, and it's funny that they still have playground equipment here today behind me. So I really believe they set the fence out here and they filmed that scene with a background there. And I believe if there was not a playground here, they may have superimposed the playground. See how the buildings are more like a silhouette? They may have not filmed that right here. That looks like superimposed right there. They may have just blended each scene together. Here's another opinion. They filmed right here down the hill from the Elysian Point over there. They filmed the playground scenes out here in this grassy field. They set it up, they filmed each spot, and then in the editing room put it all together. So they very well could have filmed that playground scene anywhere. I think if you look at it, it looks like they built that playground. It's not natural looking. It looks good to the untrained eye, but they definitely built that playground just for the movie. Whether it was over there on the cliff with the skyline, which is right through the trees, or they built it out here. I believe they filmed all of it right here in Elysian Park. I want to throw that out there because I don't think anyone's ever mentioned that. There's a chance that they filmed the playground scene right here in this grassy spot. If you're in this park, it's right behind the restrooms. So they could have put the fence right here as well. Just want to throw that out there. There's no evidence out there to confirm that, but I'm going to say it because it is a possibility. So when the nuclear bomb goes off, you see a domino effect, all the buildings from the skyline all the way down the streets of LA being smoked to oblivion. Now that was a small model they created to do that. They used a lot of model work in this movie as they did in the original Terminator. And on the opposite angle, the close-up of Sarah's face, you see palm trees behind her, tall trees. There are tall trees here. Don't see any palms. That doesn't mean they weren't here 30-something years ago, but there are trees. And now, welcome to Lakeview Terrace. For the next couple of filming locations, we will be here. Sadly, they are gone. But there is a little bit of evidence we can match up then and now. This Lakeview Terrace Branch Library was built sometime in the last 10 years. This was the former entrance, this driveway off of Osborne, to the Corral Bar. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. You have to use your imagination, but the Corral Bar in the beginning of T2 sat right here. I think it shared the same address, 12,002 Osborne. Now a City of Los Angeles library. Across the street, right over here, these apartments. This used to be a vacant lot. That is where Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, came from the future. The trucks were parked. Speaking of trucks, we're parked right over here. Here's the shot I'm talking about. You see the two trucks there? That is where the Terminator spawned from the future. Right behind those two trucks. Present day would have been right here across the street. You can match up some of the poles, and this is where Bad to the Bone kicks up, George Thorogood. Every time I hear that song, I think of this scene, of course, too. Arnold taking off on the Harley. Again, you can see the trucks across the way. And this right here is the light pole that is right here today. This is what I was talking about. That is the only thing you can see then and now. That light pole is in this screenshot right here. Off, very faint. That's it. That is totally the only thing here that you can see then and now. So that kind of lines up everything for you. So I came across Osborne here, a library right there. Over here, somewhere in this vicinity, is where the two tractor trailers were parked. I'll put a picture into frame so you can visualize the scene I'm talking about. That was right here. There's actually a very quick shot of the Corral Bar through those trailers before Arnold crosses the street. If you're looking for that location, it's present-day Parkside Place, family townhomes. There you go on my phone. Arnold is looking at the Corral Bar through the trailers, which were parked somewhere in this vicinity right here, just to show you, recreate that shot for you as best I can. Right there's the library, where the bar used to be. So right here in this spot is where the Terminator came to 1990. All scenes were filmed inside of that bar. And a little movie magic, the Terminator was wearing surfer shorts, board shorts. He wasn't entirely naked, as they say. Take it, take it. Also, have to point out that anytime I hear that song by Dwight Yoakam, I think of that scene. I like me some Dwight Yoakam. That's some good country right there. And then one more filming location right here off of Osborne. It's actually right over here on the corner. All right, came up the sidewalk, library right there. This is Foothill and Osborne and Lakeview Terrace. Right here used to sit on the corner an old liquor store. But actually the liquor store, it was actually where 7-Eleven was, facing Foothill. And then here on the corner was another building. And in between these two buildings, off of Foothill, is where the Terminator and John Connor pulled in, drove through a gate that was right here in between those two buildings on the motorcycle, and went inside the phone booth, which would have been right out here against the building. I got screenshots. Here's what I'm talking about. Right here is the liquor store, and that is the car of those two guys that came to John Connor's rescue a little later in the scene. They're pulling in between a gate. This gate was right out here, right here in between the two former buildings. So they would have pulled in about right over here. You can only see, the only thing I can match up from this wide angle of the establishing shot is this apartment complex across the way. You can faintly, very faintly see these apartments. I'll blow it up, put it into screen across the street. Right there, you can see the lights. of these apartments. And that's pretty much it. The filming location, long gone. If you go on Google Maps back in about 2008, you can see the old liquor store from this angle on Street View. But this is where John and the Terminator called home to find out that his foster parents were dead. All right, so I came in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven. So right here from this quick shot that you can see across Foothill, there would have been a billboard. You can see those apartments again. Really quick shot. So I've come in here to try to kind of match that up. Truck coming in. This is where the motorcycle would have came in. Same driveway, by the way. Phone booth would have been right over here. So yeah, they were standing right over here making this phone call. And there's what you see in the background of this screenshot with John and Arnold. Edward Furlong, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, this is the former Spot liquor store right there. Those guys that were in, it looked to be like a Trans Am or a Camaro that came over. The Terminator picked him up by his head, and that's where the conversation started. This is where John Connor learned that the Terminator had to do everything he said. You have to do everything I say. Stand on one foot. That happened right here. That's so cool to be here. I love this movie. And look at that, movie magic. Corral Bar was right across the street. Who knew? All right. Just a mile from where we last left off, still in Lakeview Terrace. Welcome to 11,600 Eldridge Avenue. Right here, now the Phoenix House Academy. This is the Pescadero State Institution where Sarah Connor was being held. Also, Dr. Silverman returns. Those scenes, everything that you see in T2 as far as Pescadero was filmed right here, inside and out, with the exception of some of the parking garage scenes. I've got a lot of matchups to show you. Never seen before matchups right here. This is so cool to be here. I've always wanted to do this video, specifically this location. Eventually, the T-1000 will be chasing after Sarah Connor, John Connor, and the Terminator up this way. Oh yeah, we'll get to that. That'll be one of the last things we do. Down there where that bus stop is, that is where the former entrance, as you see in T2, the guard shack, that is the former entrance of where all those scenes took place. We will head down there. Just wanted to show you, this is the same building from T2. Okay, so I'm further down Eldridge here, right here, this gap in the road across the street. Just remember, this brown wall, this fire hydrant, and this little driveway right here, right across from this driveway, and I have evidence to show you, is where the former entrance, as you see in T2, the guard shack, would have been right here. The driveway, the gate, all the action would have took place right here. Just remember that. And also this building you see through the trees. That building right there has a very iconic shape. You can see this several times in the scenes filmed out here in Judgment Day. All right, I'm gonna start with the actual building. Look over here. Now the trees have grown up, and also there is grass where the former parking lot used to be. This is the establishing shot of this building I have in frame as you see it first in the movie. Have to use your imagination, but you can see the corner of the building, the same building, all grown up today. Those trees have grown quite some time in the last 30-something years. And you can see just a bit of the building right here through the trees. Right here in this spot is where the former driveway slash guard shack used to sit. Now I'm basing that information off of all the buildings and several scenes of the movie, but this is a great establishing shot from what I'm trying to show you. Right there is the building, guard shack, Pescadero State Hospital sign, and building through the trees. And I matched that up because this is where the Terminator and John Connor on the Harley turn right here. They actually stop right here, and this is where John, right here in this spot, this is where John tells the Terminator he cannot kill anyone. Right there. And I know that because the camera angle changes. And you can see this building behind them as he's having that conversation. Whatever you do, swear to me that you won't kill anyone. Check out the building right behind them. I swear. And there it is today. Those window patterns are very unique. Hard to mistake that building for anywhere else. And this is right before the guard shack, before they make that turn. So they were right here on Eldridge having that conversation. And that's part of the reason how I knew where the guard shack formerly was. This building right behind their heads there. And if you go back, Google Street View about 2008, you see a former building that sat across from the guard shack from the driveway right here. Now I'll put the screenshot into play as John and the Terminator are driving up to the guard shack. You can see that building that used to sit right here on this corner all those years later. Here you go today, down in the right hand corner. They were right here turning into the Pescadero Institute. That's freaking gnarly. And also, this wall can be seen in Terminator 2. It is still here. This wall right here also. There you go, screenshot into frame. Very tight shot as he's stopping right here in front of the guard shack. There's that brown wall then and now. Pretty sure that's the same wall. Yeah, it has to be. So yeah, that is how I confirm the drive path with the angle of the Phoenix building, Pescadero, that building, right through there. That all happened right here. And with all that being said, here you go. He shoots the guy in the legs. You said you wouldn't kill anyone. He'll live. I love that. So I came across the street and brought up this screenshot, the motorcycle stopping before the guard shack, so you can really see, put things into perspective. The guard shack was right here, the former driveway into the Phoenix building, and then you can make out the Institute right there, all grown up. This is where they filmed those scenes. Right here is where the gate was. Some of the most iconic scenes in the movie filmed right here. Come with me if you want to live. Also, Full House. 2 sets of twins were used filming Terminator 2. This set of twins, you might remember these guys from Gremlins 2, The New Batch. And also, the other set of twins, Linda Hamilton had a twin sister, specifically at the end when the T-1000 clones her. Her twin sister is actually in the movie. The special effects, the practical effects were like no other. Alright, so check this out. You see this gate right here? This is this brown wall across from the guard shack again, right there that you saw earlier. You can see this gate as the T-1000 hooks the back of the squad car, the police car, on the trunk as it came from out of the guard shack. That gate can be seen in Terminator 2. This property right here hasn't changed in over 30 years. And as they're moving up Eldridge here, this is really cool. Robert Patrick chomping on the back window. You can see the windows of the Phoenix / Pescadero Institute as he's chopping on the hood as they're going up the street here. Check it out. There's the windows right behind Patrick. All right, check this out. So I want you to focus on this fire hydrant right here on the corner. Right there, that will be the identifier. This is where Robert Patrick landed as he fell off the car, right in front of the Institute. Fire hydrant, hold on. That fire hydrant is in this next shot. There it is, all blown up. On my phone, I will eventually put it into frame, but this is the scene I'm talking about. He's running after him after he gets up. That fire hydrant, and basically that tree right there, still here today. I'll put it in the lower right-hand corner. That fire hydrant was the ultimate clue. That is where the T-1000 falls off of the police car and starts chasing, and then is reunited with the metal piece that goes into his foot right out here. All right, so looking at screenshots right there, the Institute, Pescadero. This is where Robert Patrick, where we left off, was running up the center of the street. At the corner of Glamis and right here on Eldridge, specifically right here where this yellow line ends, right before the stop sign. And I matched this up because of the fence and this house. So you can see that about right out here is where this happened. That is where that landed and went into his foot, because you can see a fence here, right here. This roof, this was addition, this garage was added on this roof as Robert Patrick plants his foot. and obtains the Medipala alloy. Liquid metal. Right there. That's so sick. A freaking T1000 right here. Fire hydrant. Coming up. Right there. That's awesome. And with all that being said, back here to where the entrance of Pescadero was, see this light pole? Robert Patrick T1000 walks back. That light pole is in the same position as you see the light pole in this screenshot. Almost frame per frame. Hey, nice bike. And for the next filming location, we come near downtown Los Angeles. I hate to say that this iconic filming location from T2 has been terminated. This newer bridge here on 6th Street, this is called the 6th Street Viaduct Bridge. Very cool, very new bridge. They built it sometime in the last few years. The previous bridge that used to sit here was the bridge in T2. Underneath the bridge is where the T1000 came from the future. Now, 6th Street is a lot different itself. It is completely gone. Underneath this bridge is where the scene took place. As you can see now, much different than in T2. If you remember the scene where Robert Patrick ascends, taking the police officer's clothing after terminating him. At that time, we didn't know he terminated him, but later we found out he was not the Kyle Reese of the first film. So right out here in this area, precisely below the bridge, before the railroad tracks. And I found a photo taken 6 years ago. This right here is almost the entire filming location from T2. That building over there to the right can be seen as the cop car pulls up right here. And then the police officer walks around into this area, and that's where Robert Patrick T1000 takes his clothes, basically. But yeah, this is a great shot to show you the old bridge. That would have been taken from the opposite side, right over in that area, going down that street, that portion of 6th Street. All right, I put a screenshot into play. Notice out in front of the police officer, across the fence, through the bridge, you see a tower. Well, guess what? I have just found that tower. It is still here today. Different angle. But right there is that tower, confirming this spot. That is pretty much the only thing I see then versus now. It is pretty incredible. That tower is in T2, confirming the spot. Right out in there is where that police officer was. So that tower is the only item you can compare then versus now for this location in T2. That's it. It was very dark. And now we come to Burbank. Check this out. This is the 5 up here. You can hear it, very busy, as always. Right here, this gate, this is where John Connor and Butnick enter the wash in T2. The dirt bike goes right into right here. They take a hard right coming down Lamer Street here. Check out the mountains back there. Welcome to Burbank. They take the dirt bike into the wash right here. This should look familiar to you. I'll put the screenshot into play so we can do a little then and now action. This is the location where they enter. Wow, not much has changed since 1991. This is the same fence on either side. Same fence. Pretty amazing. You can even match up some of the spots on the concrete then and now. And this pole over here, I don't know if it's the same one, but it's in the same location. A little wider angle here. This is where they enter the wash. And I have to shout out, there was only one person I found on the internet who found this. I gotta give credit where credit is due. Shout out to 80s Life. He does a bunch of filming locations around LA. He is the only one I know that has found this spot. So thank you so much. Check out 80s Life on YouTube. All right, so we last left off right down there. There is the 5 and the wash entrance down to the right, a couple blocks away. Prior to that scene, a couple moments before, still here on Lamer Street, John and Butnick are driving this way. They take the curve. The camera kind of follows them like this, And then down there, I'll put the screenshot into play. I'm matching it up then and now. You can see the end of the street, specifically the guardrails over here. They're painted white in the movie. They're right there. You can see the stop sign. You can see this house right there. Just a quick shot of them going that way before they turn right down into the California drainage system. Just a quick thing to add here. All right, so the next several filming locations right here in the valley, just north of Van Nuys, California. The next several take place off of Roscoe Boulevard. Specifically, this corner right here is where the Terminator and John Connor, after the Terminator comes to the rescue for the first time, they take the corner right here on Wakefield. Okay, stop the bike, time out, stop the bike. Mountain Dew. Arnold takes the corner right here, and they take a hard left into the alleyway off of Wakefield, and this is where the conversation happens. John Connor was informed that his mother was correct. Always listen to your mom. All right, opposite camera angle, but right there in that spot is where Schwarzenegger stops the Harley. Just want to show you what it looks like from the opposite way. I do have a screenshot where you can see behind them, all the way down this alley, that building. You can see back then and now in this screenshot. Check it out. Here you go. About ready to go and show you where this spot is, but there is that building way back then. And here you are today now. That is how you confirm the filming location. So that spot right here is where we're about to go to. And here you go, here's the spot right here. That manhole cover is almost close to the same spot. This is the wall you see to the left. Here you go, I'll put the screenshot into frame. John gets off the bike, looking back at Arnold on the bike as he loads the shotgun. Oh, this is so cool to be in this spot. Okay, this is cool. Okay, see the roof of the house back here? The brick, the tile specifically on the top. So right here, close shot, John Connor talking to the Terminator, the wall and the roof of the house right behind him. And here it is today. So they were right here. Oh wow, easy money. Easy money. All right, folks, one of the most highly anticipated filming locations ever for me. So this building right here, this served as the Federal Reserve Bank in Terminator 2. This is where John and Butnick, salute your shorts. I love salute your shorts. I have to refer to him as Butnick. This is where they robbed the ATM building. This was the bank right here, and the ATM was over here. Now it's all guarded up here, fence around it, but I've got screenshots, of course, so I can do my best. The scene took place here. After they ran away from the ATM, the dirt bike was parked along this white wall, right there, propped up. That's where John flashes the photo you see from the end of the first Terminator of Sarah Connor. Also, back here, this Pollo Loco is still a Pollo Loco. You can see that restaurant in the screenshot, and that's how I found it. Also, you can see this later. There's another filming location right here, and you would have never guessed it. I'll get to that at the end, but welcome to this building. I see someone in there, like, cleaning it out. Looks like it's just currently vacant. You want to know what's awesome? This is the same alleyway that we just left off. Way down that way is where Arnold and John Connor pulled off. They filmed a lot in this area. Okay, check it out. So, here's the building. Now, I wish we can get inside, but it was somewhere between the second and third column right here. I call this scene easy money. Every time I take cash out of an ATM, I've said this many times on the channel over the years, every time I take cash out, I think of this scene, and I pretend like I stole it with an Atari. That was an Atari that they made the ATM hack device that he has in there. It says Atari right on it. And when I met Edward Furlong, I told him every time I take money out of an ATM, I say easy money. He laughed. It was really cool. I met him at Spooky Empire Orlando several years back. But do you see where this door is right here? Because of the screenshot different angle as they're running around the corner. You can see the ATM up and to the left in the middle of the 3 windows. Where that door is now is where they put that ATM, or where it used to be. I think it was a fake ATM, but you can definitely see the columns. I wish we could get up in there. I thought I was going to be able to get in here and match up more screenshots, but this is the bank, and they run through the parking lot into the alley, and the bike is parked along this white wall. Okay, now we can actually match up some screenshots. Building, wall. Gonna put the screenshot into frame and then try to line it up now. Right freaking here. ATM right there. Wall right here. They're coming at us. They just stole lots of money. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could do that? I think everyone would have done that by now. But everything is still the same right here. This is where the dirt bike was parked. This is where they had the conversation. Although there is spray paint here, it's been spray painted many a time since 1990-91. But there is spray paint on the edge of the wall there as they're coming around the corner. I mean, these are the same bricks. You could probably match up some of the cracks. Looks like it's been repaired a couple of times. And here you go. This is where I saw the Pollo Loco. Right out there. There's kind of a bush now, but you can make out back then in the screenshot, you can make it out a little more clear. Further confirming that they were right here. And also the wall of the bank can be seen. So here's a tighter shot where you can see the Pollo Loco. I'll move down the alleyway just so you can see what I'm talking about. Boom. That's been there for a long time. And this is what I was talking about. The photograph his friend finds in the bag. And the camera's pointed back this way as John's telling that he found out his mom was a total psychopath. You can actually make out this building in the tight shot behind John. The windows. I'll put that screenshot into frame so you can see that. Also, there used to be a budget rental car behind it. I can see that behind John. But yeah, those windows can be seen. So right here on this corner, right against that wall, is where the dirt bike was sitting. Robert Patrick, the T-1000, before you knew he was the bad guy. You got to go back. You've never seen the movie before. You don't realize who's the bad guy in this movie up until the mall scene. The mall being the Galleria. Right here, the young ladies were on the corner with the Subway cups. The car, Robert Patrick, parked right here in this spot. The Pollo Loco can be seen in the background, its old sign. And then if this green truck wasn't there, there's a building. Also, the trees are hiding it that you can see in the background of this screenshot. Knowing the Pollo Loco, that, and just being here, you find the spot naturally. And right there is the Pollo Loco sign, just the corner of it. And look at that, Pollo Loco. Yeah, T-1000 parks right here in the police car. Before coming out here on Google Street View, this building right here is how I found this location, just kind of looking around. That building is way off in the distance, down the alleyway, behind those trees. And I came all the way down through the parking lot, through the alleyway to show you that building that you see in Terminator 2. Right there. That's what you see in that long shot behind the cop car and the 2 girls. And in this screenshot, way down there, you can see it. And I just got lucky and found this spot because of that building way down there. So that means the T-1000 was parked right here. Those 2 girls, one holding a Subway cup, actually both holding a Subway cup. Have you seen this boy? I always think of the recreation in Wayne's World of this scene, Robert Patrick doing the cameo of the T-1000, which he liked to do, by the way. He played the T-1000 also in The Last Action Hero. He did that a lot, but this was right here, guys. Right here in front of the bank. But there were 2 malls used for the Galleria in Terminator 2. We will go to both, much ahead. All right, folks, we're getting to some of my most highly anticipated parts of Terminator 2. This is Nordhoff Street. We're still in the valley. Check this out. This is called Bull Creek. It says it on the map. Had no idea until I got here. Bull Creek is actually a creek right now, but during the movie it was pretty dry. Specifically this ramp right here. many times used in Terminator 2. This is where the Terminator first spots John Connor on the motorcycle, looking out and seeing him coming. Actually, would have been from that direction. Sees John and Butnick down in the Bull Creek, California wash. And also, we're gonna head north to where the rest of the scenes are filmed. But of course, I've got to match up some screenshots. Ooh, this may have been where the truck crashed too. I don't know, we'll find out. All right, check this out. All right, so John Connor going up right here on the dirt bike. This little ramp, this railing is the same. Arnold just did a turnaround in the street and caused an accident. You can see the railing then and now, the ramp. This is a busy road, I gotta be careful behind me. But yeah, this all looks the same. Even the fence over here, the phone poles down in the right-hand corner. Arnold's bike would have been like right down here in the street. Hold on. That's awesome. And this is where he first sees John Connor. When John exits the wash to the Galleria and then returns to the wash to the Galleria, they use this embankment right here. Now you'll see as I go through these filming locations, logistically, these do not add up. They filmed a bunch of shots and pieced them all together. This is also the ramp you see John enter Bull Creek, right there. And moments later, as the T-1000 jumps the truck into the wash, he is north of here. I just wanted to show you that they use this spot for a couple locations at certain points, different points in the movie. But right there is where this screenshot was filmed. If you look at this shot, just before the truck jumps the bridge through the railing, it says Plummer. Well, this is not Plummer Street. Plummer Street is actually north of here. Now at the intersection of Plummer, Havenhurst, and Northbridge. Remember a few moments ago when I was showing you the screenshot of Havenhurst on my phone? Look at this. Right here, freaking right here is where they jumped. Practical effect, jumped a truck into the freaking wash. John Connor on the dirt bike, right there looking back. One of the most groundbreaking CGI / practical effects in cinematic history, in my opinion. Just freaking amazing what they did right here in Bull Creek Wash. This is actually known as the Terminator Bridge on Google Maps. I'm gonna match up some screenshots. Want to see something cool? Right here is where they remove the brick to perform that scene. You see the coloration is different than the rest of the wall, and it lines up pretty good. This is the exact spot where the semi-truck went into Bull Creek. That's amazing. You can definitely make that out. They took out the brick just to do that and put it back. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, Terminator up here eventually jumps into the wash. Movie magic, that was north of me. Heading west towards the coast there, through the valley. This is so cool. There's actually water in here. I didn't expect that. And this is actually the gate, one of the gates that Schwarzenegger enters right after the moment where the truck lands in Bull Creek. You can see, oh wow, these are the same posts. This is amazing. There was a sign right here in the chain link back then. And also you could see better the house. That's all grown up. I got the screenshot in the lower right hand corner. And this is right here before the Terminator Bridge. Just moments ago, the truck crashed. And the Terminator's actually driving along the wash on this road as the T-1000 is chasing John. And they're heading back, get this, they're heading back to where we last just left off. And you can see this brick here behind Schwarzenegger as he plows through that gate, opposite angle, looking back at Northbridge and Havenhurst. You can see the street signs behind. Yeah, I don't think I can get in here. If I can, I'll let you know, but we'll see. But yeah, this brick right here can be seen in that screenshot right here. This is where he enters. That is so freaking cool. Freaking right here. All right, so I'm just kind of following the alleyways north of Bull Creek. Way down here, this is as close as I can get to it. But there is a split, a fork right there. That is the fork you see John Connor hang a left as the T-1000 is chasing him in the truck. The truck actually smacks the wall right there in that spot I just showed you, right as it takes that same turn. And this is north of where we last left off. Actually right over there is Plummer and Havenhurst. Now it looked like they were going the opposite direction. Again, movie magic. That is that spot right there. I'll put it in the screen. You have to use your imagination. We'd be way down in the wash. To match this up appropriately, I could hop the fence, but I don't think I want to trespass today. All right, I just discovered there is a location that no one has found, and it's because it's not here in the same Bull Creek wash basin. It's somewhere else in LA. Maybe I'll find it at some point during my journey. All right, folks, welcome to 9400 Shirley Avenue. Take a mental note of this public storage building. This will be the main identifier for this next filming location. I am standing before the Northridge Shopping Plaza. 2 malls were used for the Galleria in Terminator 2. The scenes filmed right here were the exterior scenes. More so when the chase begins between the T-1000 and John Connor. The former parking garage that used to sit right behind me, totally gone now. Specifically, this pathway right here is where the chase began into the street, into Shirley Avenue. Again, the public storage can be seen throughout this scene. And they were heading this way. This is the opposite view. The camera, just wanted to show you. This is now an AMC. This was an anchor of the former existing indoor mall that used to be here. This is one of 2 malls. The other mall for this scene, the interior scenes, and also the other parking garage was at Santa Monica Place, another mall in Santa Monica, which we will get to. So, okay, whoa, sounds like a truck. Look at that. All right, so I just wanted to set that up before I break stuff down here at Northridge Shopping Plaza. Check this out, T-1000 running after John Connor. You can see to the right, the obvious parking garage that John just jumped a hedge and into that street. Robert Patrick, T-1000 behind him. Building over to the left, former building, now an AMC. Right down there in the corner, I'm gonna zoom in on it for you. You can see the former public storage building in the same spot as the current public storage building. You see the orange? So that's our main identifier. Okay, so here we are today. Public storage building, AMC. This is where the parking garage was. So I am going out here to recreate this shot. Public storage, orange, right here. There was a catwalk that went over to the second level of the parking garage, and that is Shirley Avenue. So the Terminator T-1000 chases John right out here, takes a left, and that is when he has his first get out moment and throws the trucker into the street. So this moment, this lady with the bag almost got it, was right over here in the former parking garage as John goes down to take a left on Shirley. Now this is cool because as Robert Patrick is jumping the bush, this shows you that this is a totally different parking garage than you see him get off the elevator and come down the stairwell as well. See that house right there? All the way through the former parking garage, that house, the rooftops are right over here across, get this, Tampa Avenue. You can see that Spanish tile right there, all grown up. But that just confirms the location. And that is the exact house right here you see in that moment, all the way through the former parking garage as the T-1000 is chasing after John. That house right there, you can see that clear as day. All right, here's the corner. There's the public storage building. I gotta cross the street. More screenshots ahead. Imagine the parking garage right here. This is the corner. The truck almost decides the future's fate right there by taking out little John Connor on the dirt bike, and then soon the Terminator commandeers the truck. right here in this spot. Here's the storage, public storage that you can see. So to imagine what the garage used to look like that's been torn down, it actually looked just like this one. This one was here too. This is on the right side, the north side of the AMC. So there was a garage there and back there, and it looked a lot like this one that's still here today. This one survived. The one from the movie did not survive. This always hurt me. I wonder, props to that stunt actor, that stunt guy, for taking that fall. I wonder if he broke anything. Lands pretty hard in the street right here. Check this out. You see these like yellow poles? It's kind of faint because it's going fast. Those yellow poles are still here on the corner. Here are those yellow poles, former parking garage. That guy landed right out here in the street as the T-1000 took his truck. I mean, like right there. Those poles you can see in Terminator. Also, just matching it up. There you go, right here. That was a hard fall. All right, I gotta be careful in this one, but this is a great shot. Public storage, mall, truck, parking garage, back there. All right, this is the best I can do. Cars coming left and right. But behind here, you see the orange public storage, the mall, parking garage on the corner, the T-1000 driving the truck. Then and now, I'll put it in the screenshot for you. Here you go. I'm just gonna pass through the street. There we go. That was freaking right here. Now looking at this quick screenshot, this parking garage is actually this one. Notice how it's 3 levels now? They built onto this parking garage at some point, because that is the opposite angle. John Connor actually going into a former gate right down there on the right. He drives into that gate, and then all of a sudden he's going down that ramp we saw earlier in Bull Creek, little movie magic. And that ramp, that brown gate, was somewhere over here on this block. Now newer condos, townhouses right here before Prairie Street. So yeah, movie magic, in addition to the parking garage, and back that way is where we started. Pretty cool, huh? I freaking love this movie. I had no idea. You know, when you're watching it for the first time, it's so well edited. It all looks so good still to this day. One of the greatest movies of all time as far as action and sci-fi, in my opinion. T2. One of the greatest sequels of all freaking time. It's right up there with The Empire Strikes Back, Aliens, of course, James Cameron. All right, so still in the valley. Actually, I couldn't pronounce this in Chicago. Let me see if I can pronounce the same name neighborhood in LA. Welcome to Winnetka. W-I-N-N-E-T-K-A. Winnetka. This is 19828. It says it right here on the curb. Valero Street. This is John Connor's foster parents' house. Right there is the garage where he was working on his dirt bike. She's not my mother, Todd. And the T-1000 also pulled up right here in front of the neighbors. Also, you can see this in Terminator 2. T-1000 pulls right up on the curve. This is 19834 Valero. These two houses look very picturesque. I can see why they use these. You can see the guy watering his lawn behind the T-1000 in this screenshot. Look at this. That was right there. Robert Patrick. Also walking up to this door and asking for John Connor's photograph. Do you have a picture of John? I thought he was super nice there. Later watching the movie back, it's like, why was he so nice there? That was just part of the movie, just trying to confuse you, making you think that he might be the Kyle Reese of Terminator. Really cool. The porch is still the same. You see Todd smoking a cigarette in this screenshot. Look at this. That is completely the same right there. That's pretty awesome. I think it's actually this. Yeah, it's the same door. You can see the crosses on the woodwork of the door. You can see that when the T-1000 walks up. That is so cool. Yeah, just a little paint, same house. And then right here is where they take the curve on the dirt bike. All right, check this out. This is actually Hortillo Street. So Valero and Hortillo, they're jumping the sidewalk here. House is here to the left, going down into the street. Here you go, screenshot. And this is where Guns N' Roses starts playing. You Could Be Mine. Love that song. Guns N' Roses, love Guns N' Roses. Did the soundtrack Terminator 2, also Civil War on that soundtrack. Really cool videos too, by the way, with a lot of Terminator references. Someone just pulled out over here. This is it, man. Foster parents are dead. They actually filmed those scenes inside here, I believe, too. They filmed inside the house. So, exterior and interior scenes. Location: John Connor's foster parents' home. All right, I'll get right on it. All right, folks. Fairfax in Wilshire. Just drove through Beverly Hills past Michael Jackson's house to get here. True story. Saw it on the map. That's the Academy Museum over there, the Saban building. For our next Terminator location, we actually have to come to the Peterson Automotive Museum. Inside here, they have the original Back to the Future DeLorean among many screen-used movie cars. So, they filmed a scene, actually part of a scene, right here in the parking garage of the Peterson. And welcome to the parking garage from Terminator 2. So this is the scene I'm talking about. Check out Robert Patrick becoming human again. Look at the ceiling and the lights. Just like you see in this screenshot right here. Look at the ceiling and the lights. I'm trying to find these spots. This is indeed the parking garage. All right, folks, so I got access to the bottom parking garage. Get this. It cost me $49, an additional to a regular ticket at the Peterson. If you pay 28 extra bucks, you get access to the vault, which is located right here in the Terminator 2 filming location. This is where they filmed T2. Right here is where the T-1000 was chasing after the police car. I came in like the T-1000 way down there. The car scene chased all the way down into the exit of the parking garage right through here. A lot of people down here enjoying the museum. I took the whole tour. This is a cool place. I've already posted that video, so check that out. All right, so I'm gonna put screenshots into play. I've walked around for a few minutes. The first giveaway is that the parking garage trim is red like it is in the movie. Along the walls, the pillars red. So right here, they built a wall with an elevator. This is where they get out of the elevator. And this is where the chase begins. The police car comes this way. They built a fake wall and an elevator right here. And I know that because how the pillars add up in the ceiling. All right, this screenshot here is how I found and confirmed the spot. You see the square pole over here, square pole, and then a round pole over to the right. So it appears today they built a fake wall and an elevator between this square pole, which is now painted all white, and this round pole now painted all white. There's the round pole. So right here is where the elevator is. They built a fake elevator. Check this out. The T-1000 running out. No parking painted on the wall. They put fake posts there. They put a motorcycle there. They built a fake door right freaking here. This is where he starts to take form. Now they've done a lot of ductwork down here. There's now AC down here. That's all different. The lights are in different places. The ceiling is the same, of course. But because of those two poles, square and round right there, this is where the elevator was in T2. And then this chase began. Arnold driving reverse right here. So the center row of cars, Willie's Jeep there, motorcycle, center row of cars is where the path was. and Linda Hamilton is firing back. You can see the poles behind her, the red trim. Also out in the distance, the red trim, the poles. This is freaking awesome. I don't even know if this has been shared before. And this is the ramp door that they go into reverse up. There you go, the car would have been entering if that garage door was open in reverse. Right here. Wow. So yeah, it came all the way down this path. Right here. That's freaking awesome. Okay, this is one of the clearest matchups I can show you. Round pole, square pole, right out there. All right, present day, I'm gonna put the screenshot into play. This is coming through the windshield as they're in reverse. Here we are. Right here. This is the path. Wow. You can see the pole, you can see all the poles in the background. Right here, the square pole gives it away. These cars weren't here. Actually, the T1000 is about right here. Robert Patrick. He had to learn how to breathe without opening his mouth. He became a very talented, speedy runner during the filming of Terminator 2. When I got here, I had no idea I had to buy an extra ticket to come down here to the vault to see this. I just thought it was part of the parking garage, but it clicked. Once I got inside, I said, wait a minute. The vault portion of this museum is the location down in the parking garage. So there you go. That's how I got down here. All right, now welcome to Santa Monica. Straight ahead, the entrance to the Santa Monica Pier. You can see the sign. We have come to the Galleria, one of two malls served for the Galleria. We last left off at the Northridge Fashion Mall up in the valley. So we showed the parking garage scene as far as the exterior up there, and now we've come to the actual physical interior, and yeah, physical interior mall scenes were filmed here, and also the parking garage scene before it cuts to the Northridge Fashion Mall. This is the parking garage as seen in Terminator 2, the south parking garage at Santa Monica Place. So there was an earthquake in the early 90s, and unfortunately it destroyed the interior mall scenes, the locations of Terminator 2. This is now an outdoor fashion mall. We'll walk in there just to show you. That is the location where they filmed the encounter between the T1000 and the T800 for the first time. And then it cuts to the parking garage. This is where John Connor and the Terminator parked their motorcycles side by side inside this parking garage. I found the elevator, I found the stairwell. I am so stoked to show you this. We will get to it eventually. I just want to show you the mall first. So obviously in the movie, it wasn't an outdoor mall. Schwarzenegger walking through the mall with the roses secretly, his shotgun in the box. That all happened out here. It has now become an outdoor mall. Also, the arcade scenes were filmed somewhere on the second level in the former mall up here. This is really nice. Santa Monica Dreamin'. So, the parking garage from the movie is behind the Nordstrom over here. So the parking garage survived, but the former mall did not. Totally reconstructed on the second level to where this scene would have been had it been filmed right here in this place. Actually, somewhere along the wall here, 248. And behind here is the parking garage. So that kind of lines up with what went down here. All right, so I can access the parking garage right here on the second level. This takes me to level 4. The scenes were filmed on level 2 and level 3 in the stairwell. There's a possibility this could have been the former hallway where the shootout happened. All right, folks, welcome to the south parking garage. Right here in this spot is where both John Connor and the Terminator parked their motorcycles. Check this out. The elevator, still painted blue, level 1, as it was back in 1990. These doors all match up. I've got the screenshots. The store actually takes place in that stairwell. They filmed in the stairwell, and they filmed right here. The Terminator and John parked their motorcycles right here. The T1000 runs out and chases John through the parking garage on foot, chasing his dirt bike, him and his dirt bike. This is the doorway right here. All right, I'm gonna go back up in the stairwell and show you. All right, so this is the stairwell. The T1000 chased John to the lower level of the parking garage. Right up here, I've got a screenshot to match up. All right, this right here, painted over white, can be seen in the movie. This is the doorway of level 2. There is no more door here though. Check out this screenshot. John Connor running past that fixture, now painted white, former door right here. I'll come back, put it back into frame. Check that out, right there. This is the freaking doorway, level 2. That was filmed right here. That's so cool. Another quick moment here. John is actually grabbing the rail right there. Edward Furlong grabbed that rail. Check this out, real time. Comes around the corner. Actually, no, he touches the wall right there. So he places his hand right here, crosses the former door, and heads down to level 1. Right out to the right is where his dirt bike was parked. Now, midway down that stairwell, I'll put this screenshot into frame. Robert Patrick taking the same path after John. Look at this. You can see this right behind him in between level 2 and level 1. This shape right here in this screenshot. Wow, there it is. That's incredible. There used to be a light on this wall. Elevators, same spot. Doors over there. Look at this. I am standing right here in this spot. Elevator, still painted blue. There was a hose right there. That's where the door was. That's where the T1000 runs out after John. That is pretty gnarly. Here you go. Here's a wider screenshot. That happened right here. All the doors match up. All the fixtures, all the lights, the curb. It's pretty impressive. There was a hose box there. The water pipe is still there before the door. All right, this is great. Okay, you can see the handlebars of Schwarzenegger's bike there. Look at this. Notice the door right behind John's head. That door, right there. I'll put that back into frame. So he's kick-starting his dirt bike, his Honda dirt bike right here. I used to have a Honda dirt bike, XR100, when I was a kid. Always was like, all right. All right, here's a great shot of Robert Patrick coming through this door, opening up the former door. The piping, that is the same piping that went into the former hose box that used to sit there. There you go, I'll put it back into frame. That's pretty incredible. So John actually peels off down this path right here, because when you see the next camera angle, it's coming from this way. There was a 1D sign right there in the movie. You can see it here in this screenshot, back towards the elevator. Here you go. Right here. Freaking awesome. Put it in the lower right-hand corner. Holy crap. So right here is where I'm gonna conclude that this filming stops right here at Santa Monica Place. This screenshot right here is the last glimpse we see of this filming location. You can check out the elevator in the background. This column can be seen, this column can be seen. So from here on out, the parking garage scene is filmed back at Northridge Fashion Center. Still painted blue, still south level 1 since 1991. Pretty cool. This is the stairwell from Terminator 2. Judgment Day. I parked on 3. And now we come to the desert. 46551 Lancaster, California. 40th Street. This is Cactus Jack's, or was, in T2. I'm so excited. I've watched this movie for my whole life, and I don't know why, but I've just always loved this scene. They pull in for gas right here. Just peeking over the fence here. This is the front of the convenience store, the pump. would have been right here next to the pole. And I'm going to come over here to show you the establishing shot of this scene. So I've got the screenshot into play so you can see the then. Just get this image in your head, and I'll also bring it to now and drop the image in the lower right hand corner. Alright, got it? Notice the pole. You see the cafe sign? And there's an arrow. That's a real arrow that was hanging there. That pole is still here today, here in the shadows. This is the pole. So the car would have pulled right up here in front of the pump. This is where they filled up with gas. And then right here behind the fence, Cactus Jack. So yeah, you can still make out some of the concrete here where they would have pulled up. This is where they got gas. And then they would have pulled off over to the side past the hamburger stand where Sarah got the hamburger, because she's eating a hamburger in the scene. And they would have filled the radiator up with water. They would have got gas. You don't see it off camera. Pulled around, got food, filled up the radiator. Shot of the Terminator and John looking back at the boys as he's filling the radiator. You can make out the mountains in the distance behind them and the stretch of telephone poles. Right in here, actually right in there, you can see the similar dip as you see in this screenshot. Actually, like right in here. So after finishing with the radiator parked right here in this area, they pulled off and headed this way, which is west. And then the next scenes were at Enrique's encampment. These roads out here are definitely rough. We're about 50 miles from Los Angeles. I'm doing a bit of research here as I'm going. I look out and I see the stretch of mountains from the road that you see in the screenshot. Hold on, I'll zoom in with my other camera so you can see it better. But right in here is the same stretch of mountains I've been searching for that you see behind the car as they're pulling up to the Enrique's encampment. It's the scene where the rattlesnake's on the fence. You can spot these mountains in the background. All right, this is definitely the road. Those are definitely the mountains. So I believe the station wagon was driving towards me because those mountains are there behind her. I'm driving further down to see if I can see anything else. Get this. Right out here, somewhere off of this road, I have confirmed that this is the location of Enrique's encampment from Terminator 2. This is the direction I just came. Had I not seen these mountains up here, which I just pointed out, and it's this set of mountains over here that you see behind Sarah as she's field stripping the M16, confirming the location. Now there's a camp over here. I don't want to get too close. It's really funny, there's another camp. But I'm about to show you what I'm talking about. I think it was out here off the side of the road. Right here is the location from Terminator 2. Siempre como culebra. Uncle Bob, No Fate, weapons detail. They climbed down, they dug out a hole so they could actually put those weapons down out here somewhere. I'm looking at the screenshot here. Okay, this is freaking amazing. This is one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's where it all comes together. She has the dream. Here it is on my phone. Look at the mountains behind her. And they would have filmed this in the evening because the sun is almost the same. Those could be some of the same Joshua trees, and they are, that you see in Terminator 2. The mountains behind Sarah there. The old tow truck. She's got the cigarette in her mouth. Move over here so you can see. I cannot believe I found this. For the first time on video, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was only one post I could find of this location. Someone found this on James Cameron Online, but they didn't post where it was. I actually reached out to see if they knew, and the person that took the photos for the website, it was many years ago. There's also a camp over here. This is freaking awesome. Wow. I don't know, those could be part of the movie? No, I doubt it. I think it was definitely on this side. Right out here. One of my favorite moments of the entire movie is out here. Linda Hamilton talking about how the Terminator, a machine, would never fail him like his own father did, or any father, not his father, but just talked about how unstoppable it was, and that it was the father figure that he always, or she always hoped for, and it was just a shame that it was a machine. Goosebumps on my goosebumps. Location found. Amazing. I'm taking a lot of pictures out here. It was definitely out here, and we know because of that mountain right there that you can see behind Linda Hamilton. You too, you got weapons detail. I always loved that. When I was a kid, I used to reenact that with my like toy guns and stuff. I used to watch this movie relentlessly, pretend I was the Terminator and whatnot. Actually, in 1991 or 92, I was the Terminator. I got my costume. It was the T2 costume from Walmart. My parents got it for me. I got pictures of it. Put it in the screenshot. I think I'm sitting on my grandpa's couch. Yep, that's my grandpa Ronnie's couch there. I'm the Terminator. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And welcome to Sun Village. I parked over here because I'm gonna walk up the sidewalk. This gas station, now quick serve, this is where the former garage was, where they hid out for the night, where they patched up the Terminator. Linda Hamilton got the stitches. This is all changed, but this is the location. I've got a couple screenshots to show you. So the scene begins when they're pulling into the gas station right here on this corner, the former pumps in the police car. This is what I'm referring to. The gas station still here, different gas station, pumps in different location, and about right where the present day building is where the garage was. And if this was the garage in the movie, they would have went into the last bay door, pulled the cop car over to the right. And then there was another building that you can see behind them as they're hot wiring. Little did they know the key was in the visor. The Ford would have been right here between this old gas station and the former building. Totally changed. This would have been the same parking lot. This wall was not here. That building that was torn down was right here. You could see it behind Arnold as they're hot wiring the Ford. This is where the garage was. It was in there that they filmed those scenes. Arnold was in the corner office looking out all night, guarding, hoping that the T-1000 would not show up. That was all filmed right here. Here's the building that's torn down that I'm referring to. This was sitting right to the left of the former garage. So this would have been like right out in here over this wall. That building was right here. And now I got another screenshot where you can see that building across the way in the background back then. Way out there beyond the pumps, you can see this building. Just to put everything into perspective, they shot on this corner. The building hasn't changed much, and also the mountains haven't changed at all, of course. Look at that. That is right there behind the station wagon, a little to the right across the street. Also the telephone pole, still there, same one. This is the corner. So yeah, garage, gas pumps, old building. Right here is where they would have backed out to pull up to get Sarah to head out. So yeah, they would have stolen the car right there. Little did the Terminator know that the keys were above the visor. Check it out, this tumbleweed. Took a tumble inside this like, this bus station, bus stop. And for the next filming location, I actually did a bit of time traveling myself. Welcome to January 16th, 2025. This will be the first filming location I shoot for this project. Welcome to Silicon Valley. The Matson Technology Building served as Cyberdyne. Right here, the iconic filming location, the final showdown. Man versus machine. One of the greatest shootouts of all time happened right here at this building. I'm going to break down some screenshots. If you're looking for this, it is all the way up in near San Francisco. Actually just got off a plane, came over the bridge right here to Silicon Valley, less than a mile from Tesla, past Tesla on the way here. Hey, who knew Tesla was going to be right near Cyberdyne in the future, just a mile away? And in my hand I have a Cyberdyne Systems badge. I know it doesn't look like me. It looks like Miles Dyson though, doesn't it? I can't hold it much longer. Oh. 47131 Bayside Parkway here in Fremont, California. The reason why this location is so much further than the rest, I mean, we're over 600 miles from Los Angeles, was because they needed a location that they could blow up. This office building behind me was a new build, and they were able to mold it into what they needed for the movie. They actually built it up 2 stories. I've got a set shot to show you. They built 2 stories of glass on top of the existing building to give it that look so they could blow it up in the end. You can see here the shape of the building. This is the side. Over there is where they entered. That is the main lobby. They actually built the lobby set. Those scenes were filmed here, but the laboratory scenes, which were upstairs, the interior scenes, were filmed on a set. And right over here on the corner is where the Cyberdyne Systems sign sat. When the scene begins, the camera comes down off of the building, brushes down by the sign, and you see all 4 of them walking. It wouldn't be this camera angle, but walking toward the main door, and they walk into Cyberdyne. So the Cyberdyne Systems sign was placed right here where you see this patch of mulch right here on the corner. As you first see it at night, the camera shines up on this part of the building, comes down right on the sign right here on the corner, and then all 4 of them walk right past the sign and head towards the lobby. Actually, if these cars weren't here, there was no cars here in the movie. Let's see if I can find the screenshot for you. That's freaking awesome. Actually, like a lower shot. You can see them step off the curb. But yeah, the Cyberdyne Systems sign sat right here on the corner. It's so freaking cool. Whoa, I can't believe we're here. I wonder if this pass will still work, if it'll get me in the building. So all the scenes you see underneath this awning, inside those doors, there was nothing here at the time. No one owned the building. They built the set. This is where they walk into. They come right past these fountains here. They actually set some of the equipment down on the sidewalk next to these columns. And there's wow, the doors almost look the same, but those were all fake. Those are all blown up, and they drove right into the building. And I've got this screenshot into play. Some of the tile has changed. The landscape has changed a little bit. You can see the fountain to the right of Joe Morton's hand, or directly behind Miles Dyson's hand. You see the fountain as you see it today here. They were taking the corner right here. Everything almost matches up the same. The tile's a little different though. Also, you can see more of the fountain over here. They take a right there through the doors. That's pretty sick. I just spoke with the facilities manager. He came out just to see what I was doing. I had a feeling someone might come and ask me, and he was actually okay with me being here filming stuff, and he had some stories to tell me. He says that each of the offices upstairs are named after Terminator characters, so they're kind of embracing it inside. A lot of the folks here know that they work at Cyberdyne. That's freaking cool. Yeah, nice gentleman. Thank you so much for welcoming me. They freaking drove the SWAT mobile right through there, and they filmed right inside. Now I took a peek inside. It's not all the same. We can't really go this far. We can't go any further than this, but at the time he said that this was a land building. It was another company, and that some of the guys that work here today were working in this building back then, and they said they find all kinds of Easter eggs inside this building today from T2. That is pretty wicked. This is actually a great shot here as they turn the corner. Check this out. I'll put it into frame. You can see into the lobby in the movie, the set, the lights are on. This is the same spot today. Them walking through the door. The door's a little off center. It would have been to the right actually. The door would have been more right in here in the film. Okay, check this out. Okay, so this tile was added. They sit down their bags right here before going in and confronting the security guard. Arnold sets his bag right there, just to show you. They set down the bags and they come around the corner. They didn't want them to see them carrying all that stuff. That is freaking awesome. All right, this angle right here, you see these squares right here? Imagine this being taller. They built it up. This is the screenshot I got on my phone here. I'll put it into frame. but recreating it. The cop car is sitting right out here. Holy freaking cow, that's amazing. And before the explosion goes off, if you pause the screen just right in the movie, you can see the door where Arnold is standing and where the T-1000 drives the motorcycle out. That door is into frame. I got a screenshot with arrows to show you. And then a second later, bam! And I have a screenshot in frame where you can actually see Arnold up in the building shooting back at the police officers with the minigun. And here we are today. If you look up, there's a square right here in the corner of that screenshot. I'll put it back into play. Look over to the right, about in this area, and this is the actual one of the old tree spots. I don't know if it's the same tree, but it looks like the same tree. But right here, in front of this tree, right here is where the police car would be. That's Arnold shooting down at these guys. Yeah, you can make that out right there. I'll put it into frame. That door was like right here in this glass area. They used the same hole to jump the bike out later. It didn't look like it. It looked like he broke another window. They actually just replaced the hole where Arnold was shooting, and he came out and jumped onto the helicopter. Arnold would have pushed the desk through the same window, and the T-1000 actually came out of the same window. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but I noticed it just breaking down the shots, but it was all right here. And again, in this frame, the police car, all the cops, they were retreating right behind this bank. It was grassy then, now it's just a bunch of mulch. The whole shootout went down right here. It's pretty cool. And after he runs out of bullets with the minigun, he grabs the grenade launcher. This is the opposite angle, but if you look at this screenshot, those officers are running across opposite angle right here. This was all grass. And I think I see a tree, which that tree is a lot bigger today. That is the same tree that you see in those scenes. Just all grown up. All right, I've got this screenshot into play. Notice the arrows. Paused it just right. That might be Arnold. That might be a stunt double. That is the window where he was shooting out of. And right here today, I'll put that screen in the lower right-hand corner. Same curve. The police officers coming this way. Same part of the building. Left, the main doors. Check that out. That's so cool. Yeah, Arnold was right up there to the right. I'm gonna put my finger in here to show you. Right up there, and I've got that screenshot. That's freaking awesome. Now upstairs, they filmed a little bit up there, but only facing outward. The scenes where you see the T-1000 shoot out of the motorcycle, out of the window, right after it blows up. Also Arnold up there with that dang minigun, which was like right in there. Those scenes were actually filmed up there, the camera facing out. But the set that would have been behind them, that was off. That was off somewhere else in a studio. And as I'm crossing the street over here, just to show you what's going on here, the angles you don't see in the movie, there's mountains over there. You would think it might be LA if you didn't know. California. But yeah, hundreds of miles away from the rest of where the movie was made. Right here in Fremont. We're not too far from San Jose. It's just a little ways south. And they actually performed that stunt with a helicopter, with a motorcycle, another practical effect. This has never been topped. It probably will never happen again. The amount of CGI and practical effects in one movie is just one of the best movies of all time. Again, my opinion. Just an amazing scene right out here. And no one died. 0 casualties. One of the greatest shootouts of all time. One of the most expensive shootouts of all time. They actually, they used live pyro and everything. That was a real explosion. Always wanted to come see where this happened. That scene just like, man, I've seen this movie so many times. I just think of everything said here. Dang minigun. I can't hold it anymore, Miles Dyson. Poor Miles Dyson. I think he's the only one that actually died here. Miles Dyson, rest in peace. This is where he perished. Miles Dyson, played by Joe Morton. A year ago, I was in LA this same weekend. Martin Luther King weekend. I always come to California and do filming locations. A year ago, I was tracking down the locations for Speed. Joe Morton was also in Speed. Also, that is the same weekend I did the original Terminator locations down in LA. This is the first location I'm doing because I had to keep my airfare to come to San Francisco as planned. Little did we know that the fires would break out, so I decided to postpone the rest of this weekend here. to go down to LA to film all that stuff. I'll come back and finish up the video. So that doesn't make sense now because you're about to see the future. All right, see ya. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. And now we come to Long Beach, California. Not too far from downtown LA, about 35-minute drive. This highway is Highway 103. Right down there, that overpass, is the bridge that the helicopter flew underneath, chasing the police vehicle. The T-1000 driving the helicopter, flying the helicopter, chasing after the Terminator, John, and Sarah. See where that truck's coming through? That is the pathway of the helicopter. They actually flew the freaking helicopter underneath the bridge. James Cameron actually filmed that shot. He was on the dolly right in front of the helicopter filming that shot. The cameraman did not feel comfortable filming that scene. I saw that in a making of video. So this stretch of highway right here, I'm gonna match up some screenshots to show you that they filmed out here. And I understand why they filmed here. It's not that busy. It is not that busy here in Long Beach. This is a great stretch. Now this was at night. We're gonna see a couple things. I'm gonna put my GoPro on the hood of the car and I'm gonna recreate the pathway of the chase. So yeah, I'm gonna drive right underneath that bridge, and also I'll get a little closer, try to match up this shot for you before I get there. Through and out, and right here into frame, the helicopter. The camera was actually on this side of the median. You can see it right here. Got into frame. Wow. Man, they freaking did that stunt well. That was so cool. Now they would just do that all CGI today. So during the time of the movie, you could see through these pillars. They have put concrete slabs in. They've added that for support, it seems like, because in this shot you can definitely see through that. There's a shot of the helicopter from about right here going through where it went through right there. Yeah, these were put in here. Those were not there. So I've got my GoPro on the back of my rental car because when I'm driving back this way through the bridge, that will be the correct angle as they film the helicopter. All right, here I am, just like the helicopter, recreating the scene from T2. Chase right here, T-1000. Chasing the police van. Just like that. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, and the chase continues this way. All right, so you can see all these stacks here of this Valero fuel plant. The helicopter actually flies over this. You can see that in the movie. You can see all of this right here. This is Valero. So cool. This is in the background and it is night, but you can definitely make this out. Now this bridge is a lot newer, but beforehand in the movie, they cross over a similar bridge in the same spot, a drawbridge with a green trestle. And those scenes where they crash, the helicopter and the police truck were right here on this bridge. And that's where they commandeered that old Toyota truck with the old little box truck. And they actually exited Highway 103 right here at New Dock Street, exit 4. And this building straight ahead, right there, is the next filming location spot. It looks like they went right into the steel mill right here. You gotta use your imagination. We just got off the 103. There is the bridge. So in Terminator 2, this was the entrance that you see the chase lead into. This is the fictional entrance and steel mill of the final scene of Terminator Judgment Day. This railroad track was recently just placed here. This fence brand new. All of this has been reworked. This is all new. New bridge, new off-ramp, everything you see here on New Dock Street. But this right here behind me, you can see in Terminator 2. It looks like this is the entrance to the steel mill, but that is actually over at Kaiser Steel Mill in Fontana. I don't know if anyone's ever put this together. This is Good Guy Toys from Child's Play 2. That is the same building for the Good Guys factory that they use. The facade, the exterior. The exterior for the steel mill in Terminator 2 and the exterior for Good Guys Dolls and Child's Play 2. Same building. All right, so I got this screenshot into play. This is the best moment that you can see this building back during Terminator, as Arnold's trying to reload his grenade launcher. He drops the grenade in the back of the bed, which later we know that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, there was a guard shack out here. This was the entrance. They had a fake sign that they put up. So much has changed, but this is the same location. That is a great moment right there. And that's where they did the exchange. The crash happened up there on 103 before the bridge. They came down the former on-ramp or exit ramp, and right through here, there was a guard shack here too. And that was the end of what was filmed here. The only thing really left to match up here is this railroad crossing over here. You can see the X's, truck about to go over it. And this screenshot, Arnold is shooting back at the truck plowing over this curve over here. So the former off-ramp was more over this way, it wasn't over here. So technically they came down like this into the plant through the former gates. Got another screenshot. They actually collided the two trucks out here, because in this quick screen grab before the locations change, you can see the building. About that corner right there. Same coloration and everything. And for the next filming location, I come miles away from downtown LA. Actually, this was a 45-minute journey from where we last left off. Right here across the way, the Kaiser Steel Mill. The final showdown between the T-1000 and the Terminator. Oh my gosh. One of the most awesome battles all the way to the end. I can't believe I'm freaking here. They filmed those scenes inside of the steel plant. The end of the movie right here on this property, formerly known as Kaiser Steel Mill. It was the largest steel mill on the West Coast during World War II. It is massive. And somewhere out here, I believe, is the location still here today of where they filmed those end scenes. Just iconic moments right there at the end. The special effects were amazing. When the liquid metal comes together, the T-1000 reforms just before Arnold blowing it to pieces. Hasta la vista, baby. And of course, you've got the final showdown between the T-1000 and the T-800, which is awesome. Call to John is what Robert Patrick says to Linda Hamilton as he pushes his pointed sword-like finger through her shoulder. All of that was filmed right here, and of course the thumbs up moment at the end that kind of left a tear in everyone's eye. Wow, so cool to just be out here. I wish we could get inside, but that's where they filmed those scenes. The very end of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, it ended right here at Kaiser Steel Mill. It is said that they had a $100 million budget to make Terminator 2, and I tell you what, they spared no expense creating one of the best special effects movies of all time. It still holds up today. It looks so much better than most movies that have come out in the last decade, for sure. I love practical effects. We will never see that amount of money for Hollywood movies again. It was the 90s, as they say, and it was awesome. And I'm so happy to be here among history, cinematic history, bucket list. Bam! Love this freaking movie. I used to recreate that when I was a kid, jumping off the couch like I was going down into the lava pit. I remember where I was, near Spiceland, Indiana. Give this video a thumbs up, because Arnold Schwarzenegger once gave it right here. Thank you, I appreciate the thumbs up. All right, folks. One of the most difficult spots to get to, the Pacific North Highway right here in Malibu. Got the Pacific over here, got the beach going. So right behind me, actually, I parked right across from the driveway. Miles Dyson's house. Right there is the main gate, the home from Terminator 2 and Miles Dyson. They filmed inside of this house, private drive, but we can see part of it. You can see all the way up to the driveway where they would have pulled up to. Also, on top of this hill up here is the pool that Sarah Connor is shooting across the pool into the house. Right up here is Miles Dyson's office. Right there. I'll put some screenshots into play. And also when the T1000 comes to check on the house, there is a shot from out of the office, and you can see some of the power lines along Pacific Highway. These power lines and some of those screenshots, I put arrows there so you can make that out. That was all filmed right up there. And I think I once heard that James Cameron either lived here or knew someone that lived here. I don't know, he may still own it, but I think James Cameron actually at one time owned this house during the shooting of the film, and I think that's how it became a filming location. And if you're looking for the house, parking was pretty easy right here, 30065 Pacific Coast Highway. The beaches of Malibu. Check this out. A lot of people out here having a good time. So I walked further out on the beach because you can see Miles Dyson's house, specifically the pool area right there in his office. Check this out. Wow. Okay, so right there, that's the second level. But right down below the second level up there, pool level, that's where Miles Dyson's office was. Where Linda Hamilton shot up his office, almost killed him. Also his son Danny. Oh man, terrifying scene. I loved it. Especially when Schwarzenegger removes his skin and shows his robotic arm. That was all filmed up there. And according to this plaque here, this is Zuma Beach County Park across from Miles Dyson's house. It's a nice day for a beach out here. Nice day for the weather. Well, guys, this is the very last spot I had to track down, so I might as well make it the end of the video. I want to thank you all for watching, especially you Terminator 2 Judgment Day fans. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comment below, what was your favorite parts? What's some of your favorite moments of Terminator 2 Judgment Day? Also, if you like the original film like I do, I hope you came back for the second installment if you watched that first video I put out last year. Check out my filming locations playlist on the main page of my YouTube channel. The original Terminator filming locations here in Los Angeles. That video I created will be on that playlist as well. So it took me 2 trips, 3 months apart. As of tomorrow, I'm leaving tomorrow, 4 flights, 4 different airplanes. No layovers, thankfully. 2 different rental cars, and 4 days. That's how much I put into this little project that I've been dreaming about completing for a long time. And I want to thank you for sticking to the end. One of the greatest movies of all time, one of my most favorite, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I have seen all of the locations, all but just a couple of moments in the film, but I believe this is one of the most complete yet filming locations videos out there, and I'm very happy and humbled to announce and put that out there for you. I love that. These are my favorite videos to create, and there was a lot of spots that I found just naturally coming up on them that have never been discovered before. So I'm really grateful I got to put so much time into this video, and I just want to thank you for watching. Alright guys, I'm going to end it right here at Zuma Beach in Malibu. I'm thankful I was able to get back here. I'm happy things are better. I'm happy we were able to do this. Thank you so much for watching. Know you're awesome, know you're loved, and no matter who you are or what you're going through, just know that there's always much ahead. I'll see you in the future if it doesn't get rewritten. Now, 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 now. Now, 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 now. have to do the song at the end. Wonder if Miles is home. Oh wait, it could be an alternate future. All right guys, thanks for watching. Much ahead. Bye-bye.